My name is Lotfullah Najafizada. I'm the head of current affairs at Tolo News. It's Afghanistan's first 24-hour news channel operating out of Kabul. It's the most influential news network in the country.
And this is Juliana Keeping. I'm a reporter for The Oklahoman in Oklahoma, United States, and I'm also the producer behind a multimedia project called Vikings War, which is a multimedia embed with Michigan Army National Guard unit called the Viking Battalion. And I'm talking to Lotfullah because I wanted to see what is the situation with the protests in the aftermath of the Quran burning at Baghlan Air Force Base about 5 days ago. If you could talk about what you're seeing in your country.
Well, this has been one of the most serious stuff, which has happened in the last few days. Today was the fifth day of the protest going on across the country, and it was indeed one of the strategic mistakes, the U.S. military made in Afghanistan, especially in a mission where you're supposed to win the hearts and minds of people. So that made actually, their life much harder. And in the last 5 years, at least 30 Afghan civilians, have been killed in different protests across the country, and more than 200 have been wounded. And it was a widespread protest across the country in different provinces, from the north down to south and east and west, almost and all over Afghanistan. Today, the fifth day of the continuing protest in the country, Kunduz in northern Afghanistan witnessed a large protest in which hundreds of angry protesters attacked the UN compound there, which led to a gun battle in which at least 7 Afghan civilian protesters were killed and more than 70 others were wounded. So this has been happening in the country, and there is no clear signal whether today was the end or not. There are still possibilities for continuation of such protests, in which the Afghans would express their frustration against what they call an insult to themselves and their religion by the U.S. soldiers in Baghlan area.
So at the ministry today, then there were probably 2 soldiers killed and then about 7 Afghan civilians and 70 injured in the crowd, as from your news gathering. And that's February 25th.
The attack, right. The attack in Kabul, inside the Ministry of Interior's building, was a different one. Today, Kabul didn't witness a major protest. However, there were 3 small gatherings in different parts of town, which didn't get a lot of media attention. What was very newsy in the afternoon was the killing of 2 American soldiers, reportedly one colonel and now a major officer, 2 senior officers, obviously, were killed inside their room, their office in the Afghan Ministry of Interior. They were reportedly advisors to the Afghan police. It's still unknown who killed those 2 American officers. ISAF has said that there was no Westerners involved in it, and it's still unclear whether there was an Afghan behind it. So this is something the Afghan Ministry of Defense would investigate, plus ISAF. The immediate action the top ISAF commander in Afghanistan, General Allen, took 2 hours ago or so was to pull out all American advisors or ISAF advisors from all ministries and government institutions in Kabul and around Kabul. So that was one of the strongest steps, which has been taken so far.
For those of us who don't understand the significance of burning a Quran, can you shed some light on that? Why is this incident sparking so much unrest?
Well, burning the Quran is a sensitive issue in a country like Afghanistan, which is very controversial. And unfortunately, it was in a very sensitive time and in a very sensitive place too. So all this contributed to an unprecedented reaction from the Afghan people. What happened that recently there were events which led to some sort of disagreements between the Afghan government and the U.S. government, especially on talks with the Taliban. So burning Quran by U.S. forces somehow provided an opportunity for the Karzai administration to take it as a political pressure tool on the U.S. And President Karzai has been calling over the past 4 days on the importance of the handover of Afghan prison. He told the U.S. Assistant Defense Secretary on Wednesday that if the prison was handed to Afghans, such a mistake wasn't happening. And also in the statement he issued today, he said that it's very important to put an end to night raids conducted by U.S. special forces, as well as the prison has to be handed over to Afghans. So these things, the Quran burning coincident with such sensitive issues in a very sensitive time, that was one of the reasons behind such a larger scale reaction.
Can you paint a picture for me of the unrest in Baghlan and Kunduz provinces of the last several days?
Baghlan and Kunduz traditionally are very sensitive provinces in the northeastern part of the country. Baghlan is geographically the gate for the entire northeastern region of the country, and it was traditionally one of the strongholds for this Afghanistan's second largest insurgent group, Hizb Islami. Therefore, the possibility of demonstrations like this one is very high in Baghlan. Baghlan is historically very famous for deadly demonstrations over different issues. One of the things, you obviously see one or two big demonstrations in the province a year, whether it's on local officials, on the governor or the police chief, or land disputes, or ethnic issues and all that. Yesterday and today, there were protests in the provincial capital of Afghan, Kumri city, and today, indeed, there was a very big one in Kunduz in the neighboring province.
And could you say the can you say the
attack on the?
Sorry, could you say the date when you say today and you're talking about February, what is it, 26th? 25th?
25th, yes.
25th, right. Okay, sorry, continue.
No problem. The attacks yesterday, 24th of February, and today, 25th, in Baghlan, and obviously today in Kunduz as well, where hundreds of protesters attacked the UN compound. And the UN fearing a Mazar-e Sharif-style protest which took place last year, which led to the death of many UN staff there. They took defense actions which led to some casualties in Kunduz. So these two provinces were one of the areas where the protests took place and left some casualties.
Okay, well, what now, from your perspective, what is with the protest? I'm sure that you read a lot of American media coverage, but what's the uncovered story that the Afghan media is? How is the Afghan media, I guess, covering this story that's different from the way a CNN or an agency like that might cover it?
Well, we have been very cautious not to contribute to the already chaotic situation in the country. The Afghan media had been trying to deal with this very professionally. What we have noticed here is that this is not the frustration of people here is not only against what happened in Bagram airfield 5 days ago, but it was an opportunity for them to express their frustration against a lot of things, from poor governance to unemployment to government's inability to provide service delivery and all of that. So this was an opportunity for people to come out and speak out their frustration. This is something I think a lot of foreign media haven't covered properly. And the other thing is that there were different groups, behind this such demonstration. There were one type of people who were ideologically committed or angered with what happened in background, and there was another layer of people who used it as a political opportunity for their political gains. And the third layer were people, unemployed people who came out to the streets to use the opportunity and create chaos and problems in town. So this suggests that there was a mix of people involved in the large demonstration in the last 5 days or so.
So it sounds much more complicated than just a protest over a Quran burning. These people are taking to the streets to express a lot of different frustrations or to posture or because they're upset, in some way they're at the occupation.
Right.
Right.
That's true. Let me emphasize that I still believe a portion of the Afghan population is in favor of the U.S. presence in Afghanistan. So it doesn't mean that we're upset and we're pissed off and we want the U.S. soldiers to leave. This is not the case.
Oh, okay.
Background is indeed a serious issue, and there has been a wide reaction across the country. There was 2 attacks, if today on Americans confirmed, which was done by an Afghan. So there's 2 attacks on U.S. forces in the last 3-4 days. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the Afghan people are standing against U.S. forces and demanding their departure. We still understand, that there has been a large need for a sense that we need, U.S. forces for a long time here.